creating a safer work atmosphere for the maturing workforce. Today's workforce is changing some and getting a little grayer. For various reasons, later life workers are choosing to continue to work. It is a myth that older workers are injured more often than younger workers. The experience that the seasoned worker brings is an understanding of what might happen and knowing the limitations they may have. You may have heard that the aging workforce will only be an issue for the next few years. Well, that's a myth. It will be 2030 for the wave to cycle through. We will talk about some of the common injuries that occur and solutions that work for all generations.
An overexertion injury occurs when a person works beyond his or her physical capacity, or more specifically, when the physical forces required to perform a task exceed the tolerances of the body's soft tissues. Such factors as poor physical condition, aging, and its related loss of body flexibility, and obesity affect these tolerances. Overexertion injuries generally fall into two categories: sprains, stretching or tearing ligaments, and strains, stretching or tearing tendons or muscles. We often hear that I was moving too quickly to perform a task, or I was in an awkward position.
One way we overexert is when we are pushing or pulling. Pushing is a more natural way of working versus pulling, which will more likely lead you towards a strain. Pushing uses the larger leg muscles, aligns the body in a normal way of functioning, and is a much easier way of working. When pulling, you twist at the waist and cause lower back strain. You take your body out of its regular position. Sometimes the only option is to pull, but do so sparingly and switch back to pushing as soon as you can. By pushing, you will find that you also have more control of the cart and facing the inventory to make sure it remains on the cart, as well as giving you the ability to react easily to possible changes. We lose strength and endurance over time. By using tools to assist your lifting, it will reduce your chance of sprains and strains. Lower the physical effort by using tools or design of workspace to bring the product as close to waist height as possible. If you find you have to lift from the floor, first assess the load, check footing, bend at the knees and hug the load. Keep your back straight. Avoid twisting at the waist. Move your feet. Avoid heavy loads. Break down and carry smaller quantities, and get help with heavy loads.
It's just mostly common sense. You make it as easy as possible, and if it gets difficult, you find a way to make it easier, and that's usually getting help.
Plan your lift by checking the weight, knowing the path and making sure it's clear, and knowing what kind of surface you'll be walking on. Try to use the best body mechanics you can, and if there's a safer method, use it instead. The cost of the tool will often greatly be offset by greater productivity and lower accident costs. Don't be afraid to ask your employer if you need extra modifications to do the job they're expecting of you. You are just as productive as younger workers, and if a different tool is needed to assist you with the job, then tell your supervisor. Some of the topics and tools shown here are easy to implement and benefit all of the employees at your company.